Hello class, this is Mike Elmes again. In this video I'm going to solve problems from the Test 3 Math 145 review, and we're going to start with problem 95. It says express each of the population descriptions using an appropriate function. Remember to clearly define your variables. Okay, so the first one says the population of rabbits started with 6 and it increased by 3. So when I look at numbers 95 and 98, 97, it looks like the amount of rabbits increases or decreases by a fixed amount, not a percent. So I'm thinking linear function, right? So for 95 and 97, I'm thinking linear function in the form of y equals mx plus b. So when we do these, let's see if I can use the typewriter tool. So here you can see my answers for 95 and 97. Okay, this is 95. And this one was for 97. So 95, we started with 6 rabbits, right? So my b in y equals mx plus b, my b is the 6 rabbits that we start with, and it increases by 3, right? So that's why I have a plus 3 here. The slope is 3, all right? But for 97, it's decreasing. So you'll notice my slope is negative, and we started with 60 rabbits, so my b is now 60. All right, so that's 95 and 97. Okay, 96 looks like we have an increase of 20%, and 98 we have a decrease of 3%. So let's take a look at those in a moment. All right, before I do, you just want to make sure you write this down because I'm going to erase this in a moment. All right, this was 97, and this was 95. All right, so I'm going to erase that and then do 96 and 98. Okay, so for number 96, looks like we have an exponential function, right? Because we're increasing by 20%, and 98 we're decreasing by 3%. So exponential functions look like this: y equals ab to the x. And remember, if b is bigger than 1, we have a growth function. If b is less than 1, we have a decay function. Or really, if b is between 0 and 1, we have a decay function. So when I look at 96, we're increasing by 20%. All right, so again, think of y equals ab to the x, and they're telling us that r as a decimal is 20%, right? 0.20, right? It's increasing by 20%, so my r is 0.20. And for growth, we know b equals 1 plus r. So my b would be 1 plus 0.20, or b equals 1.20. So we know b. A is the initial value. So the initial number of rabbits is 6. So we can now write y equals ab raised to the x. That's my answer for number 96. Okay. Number 98, very similar, but now the number of rabbits is decreasing by 3%. Right, so we're still going to use a similar approach, but now for decay, we're going to use b equals 1 minus r. Right, for growth, we used b equals 1 plus r. And by the way, this was our answer here. So our r was 0.03. Right, because it's decreasing by 3%, so 3% as a decimal is 0.03. So I do b equals 1 minus 0.03, b equals 0.97, and the initial number of rabbits was 60, so a equals 60. So we can write y equals 60 times 0.97 raised to the x. All right, that's my answer for number 98. So let's take a look at problem number 99 and 100. It says the table gives the cost in dollars of renting a car as a function of the number of miles driven. Assume the function is linear. So right away, if it's in a linear function, again, we know we need y equals mx plus b. All right, so they give us some data, and I'm going to just temporarily change the letter c to y because you guys are used to x and y. And if you think about it, these are like ordered pairs, x1, x2, y1, y2. Right? So the formula for slope, which they're asking for in 99, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I would do something like 70 minus 40 over 200 minus 0. So what is that? On top, I get 30 over 200, which is 3 over 20. And if you do 3 over 20 in your calculator, right, because I want to get this into like money, right? So 3 divided by 20 is 0.15, okay? So my slope, I'll use the letter m, equals 0.15. So the practical meaning of the slope would be, for each additional mile driven, the rental cost increases by 15 cents, right? So every extra mile you drive, it costs you 15 cents, right? So that's not bad, 15 cents a mile. Okay, let me type that up. Right, for each additional mile driven, the cost of the rental increases by 15 cents, right? Now it says write the equation that gives c as a linear function of x. So again, I'll use x and y for now, right? So we know y equals mx plus b. And we know what m is. M is the 15 cents, right? So I can actually write y equals 0.15x plus b. So the only thing we don't know is b, because we do have an x and a y. Here's an x, here's a y. We could use either of these, 270 or 040. So I'll use the 040. So I put in 40 for y and 0 for x. So, and it looks like 40 equals b. Okay, so if I know b is 40 and I know m is 0.15, I can write the equation y equals 0.15x plus 40. Okay, now if you want to use their letters, c and x, you would say c equals 0.15x plus 40. I would accept either of these answers, right? Either or. It's fine with me.